we're all about stories, and our theme is the secret epic. So I'm going to put you on the spot, but yeah, I want to know: is there a story of something that most people haven't heard this story, but clearly you made it through. At least part of you did.
Yeah, so I got your email. I was kind of thinking, and as soon as I read it, I was like, oh God, I know exactly what story to tell. And it was 1996. It was the very first time I climbed El Cap, and roll into Yosemite, super excited with my partner, and we were a team of two. So team of myself and then another two persons. And so they were climbing above us, and we all were kind of climbing separately, and we were doing the triple direct, which is 3 routes actually. And so you're doing part of the Salothe, part of the nose, and part of the Muir. And so you're kind of blending those routes. And we were way at the top. We were way up at Camp 6, which is the very last bivvy site on El Cap. Settle in, and you could see the weather coming. It was pretty obvious that we were going to get hammered. And we were fine. There was 4 of us on Camp 6, which is pretty tight. We were laying side by side, but we had enough room. And bivvy sacks, food, water, the whole 9 yards. Going to top out the next day, no worries. And about 2 in the morning, it starts raining hard, right? And raining hard enough that it's coming down I'm laying next to a crack, and it's coming down that crack and kind of running under me, which is fine, no worries. And around 2 o'clock in the morning, temperature starts dropping. Around 3 o'clock in the morning, we start hearing yells and shouts, and we're like, oh, that's weird. Like, that's getting closer. And these 2 Spanish dudes come up in a pair of shorts and t-shirt, and they were trying to do the nose in a day. Obviously, we're not doing well. And they were shivering. They're hypothermic. They end up trying to pass, and they go past us, and the guy is leading above us in what is going to become the changing corners, and he rips some gear and takes an upside down fall, whacks into the wall. He's not psyched, right? So it's getting a little bit verglassy up there, and they lower back to the ledges, and he's like, can we stay? There's language barrier, but he's like, can we stay here? And we're like, dude, you can't. There's no room here. You got to go down to Camp 5. And they're like, they didn't understand. And so they just lay down on top of us. And so now it's pouring rain, it's hailing. We're like, well, you know what, this is going to suck, but we'll just get through this. About halfway through that, from 3 to 5, we find out they're brothers. The brother, we think, dies because he had hit the wall so hard. He just was not moving, was incoherent. You couldn't roust him at all. My friend Dean is laying on the side of Camp 6, just kind of in a ball. The one brother reaches over and unclips him from the tether and pushes him. And Dean just grabs, we had a daisy chain running across, he grabs the daisy chain somehow, clips himself back in, and he just starts, he punches the dude, he hits him like several times. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he's like, pushes the guy back. Now everybody's all wonky and it's weird, and the other brother's still not moving. Daylight comes, and our other friend goes, we gotta get help. This is not gonna work. And it had iced over so bad that NPS brought their helicopter in, and they're just coming up El Cap. You could see them coming up at first light. They stop and hover, and they kind of ask us if we need a rescue, and we say yes, and they're like, okay, just chill, and they leave, and hour later, here comes some ropes down from the top, and guy wraps in, and he's like, do you guys, what's going on? And I kind of give him the lowdown, and he's like, is the guy dead? And I go, I don't know. And so he comes in, and he just starts shaking the guy violently, and the guy wakes up, and he's like, all right, he's like, someone has to jug him out, someone has to help his brother. So we're like, well, we don't want to leave, we're going to stay. And he goes, nope. Everybody's going. He goes, there's no way you guys are staying. And so we're like, all right. So I had to jug the one brother. I tied my jugs to his jugs, and we jugged. When I moved, he moved like a marionette. Get up to the top. There's about 3 feet of snow on top. So it had snowed. We didn't know that. And then it had iced over everything. 2 people ended up dying over on the Salothe. They were near the top. It iced over. And so we get up top, and that's why he said, yeah, nobody's staying. Everybody's leaving. And so we get up top. The Spanish brothers were fine. We ended up having to do this weird NPS interview stuff because it was such a strange thing. My team was fine. The coolest thing was they loaded us in a helicopter, and I'm used to having to walk down, and they flew us off the top and then took us to the meadow and let us off in the meadow. Super kind of annoyed at the brothers, for being so unprepared. And we see them a day later, and we left all our crap on Camp 6, so we had to go back up. And they were like, would you guys get our stuff for us? And I'm like, sure, whatever. So they came to the top with us. We wrapped in, got all the crap off the ledges, reclimbed the last pitches, and come back out. And they ended up being these super nice guys, but they were just like over their heads, hypothermic. I ended up getting like frost nip on my fingers from sitting in the waterfall. It was just this complete I left the valley that day and I was like, I'm never coming back here ever again. Of course I did, but I was like, this was just such a freaking train wreck. So kept that one quiet for a long time.
That's awesome. That might be the best one we've heard yet.
I don't think that's a good thing. That's probably not good.
Well, no, I mean, great. The best stories is when everybody survives, but almost died.
Right. Yeah. And this dude was like, he was moaning before he went silent, and that's why we thought he died. And my friend Dean's like, remembering all this stuff. He's like, God, dude, I gotta pee. And I'm like, dude, just pee. Just whatever. We were soaked. And so Dean's like, yeah. He's like, we talked the next day. He's like, I peed like 3 times in my sleeping bag. He's like, it was so freaking miserable. And I'm like, yeah, but you get warm for a minute. You're like, yeah. Oh, now I'm cold again. So it just, dude, I drove out of the valley that day and I'm like, or whatever, a week later, I'm like, oh my God, my fingers were just gnarly and just, oh, it sucked. But now I look back on it and I'm like, builds character.
That's awesome. Thank you for telling that story. For free films and exclusive invites, join our email list at filmfestivalflix.com/email and follow us on social media with Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. In your home or on the go, we bring the festival to you.